Wow. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is AMKS Goddess Radio. Welcome to the show. I'm talking about insanity, how it runs deep within the mind and the soul sometimes. So, live on air. I tell people, I'm live on air, and they still try to text me. You know what I mean? On air. Call in with your questions. Your questions. I don't know. We're being lied to. We've been lied to. We've been overbooked and underbooked, and we've been lied to, guys, and it doesn't really matter anymore because we don't care. We're not doing anything about it. Living off the grid, living on the grid. Chief exercises says devil's in the Vatican. Devil is lurking in the very heart of Roman Catholic Church in central Washington. You know what I mean? In Washington, you have the Freemasons with their Mecca square in the middle of the Temple of Baal, being put out across the world. Oh wait, what is it? The Baal. So I went in and saw, and there, in every sort of creeping thing, abominable beast, and all idols of the house of Israel. And that's what's going on in our world today, folks. I don't know how to explain it to you any better than that. The Vatican has this creepy statue behind Pope Francis, who's a pedophile, a child trafficker, Queen Elizabeth. And I was listening to the prophets of Notre Dame, the prophecies of Notre Dame, and it was saying,
the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing in the holy place. Let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains.
What mountain are they talking about? They got the Black Mecca Square. George Washington wearing his full Mason outfit. Call in. Live on air. The world is a vampire, draining the human soul out of each other.
That day will not come unless the rebellion comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed.
The man of lawlessness.
Standing in the holy place, the abomination.
They're saying that Jared Kushner is going to be the new false Antichrist.
So this is the rise of the Antichrist spirit in the hearts of men.
In the hearts of men. That is your ascension that they're talking about right now. Opening the third eye. We've got our first caller. Hi, caller. You're online with KMAS, Goddess Radio. How are you doing tonight? What's up? We're talking about Freemasonry right now and insanity of the world in which we live in, and how in the Freemason temple there is a cube in the middle of the center of the temple, and it's a black cube that they use as an altar. And it says in Hebrew, God said, "Let there be light," and they're talking about the God of light, the God Lucifer. You know what I mean? The bearer of light, yeah. And the gentleman here is saying and claiming that Washington is like Mecca in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you know anything about the Black Cube in Saudi Arabia. Do you know anything about that? Well, there's called a Hajj, where the Muslims every year go to Saudi Arabia and where the Turkey and Pakistan and Israel is, and they do this thing that's called a Hajj, and they've got to go to all the 7 mountains and run back and forth, and then they circle around clockwise about around this gigantic black cube. It's called the Black Cube of Mecca, and then they get to the middle, and it's got like at the very end of the cube, it has this silver like little cup that they believe that when they talk into it, it relieves them of all their sins if they complete their Hajj. You know, and over millions of Muslims go there every year. But then the center of the temple, the Masonic temple, is the same black cube, but it says on it, God said, "Let there be light" in Hebrew, and then there's these Egyptian like throne things around it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what does Egyptian have to do with God besides he freed the Israelites, right? So what do you think? Yeah, there's well, that's considered magic, right? And then you've got religion, but listen to this. The whole Washington, Washington D.C. is set out like the tree of life, like you call the Kabbalah. You know what the Kabbalah is? Okay, Washington D.C. is designed as the tree of life and the Kabbalah, and then the obelisk, I can't even say it, the obelisk sits right there is the center of the attraction, which represents the male penis, and it sits in the circle of the Uval, which is supposed to represent the female. Why? Is it raining? Is it raining outside? Oh, thank you, Marcelino. You are live on my broadcast, and he got me a candy bar and a soda. He loves me so much. Thank you, Marcelino. I love you. So that's what we're talking about. Is we're talking about right here? Listen.
The Roman god of time worship. And the
Saturn.
Writing in the middle says, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Yeah, please take this, Marcelino. I'm talking on live. I'm live on iHeartRadio. What are you doing? Yes, they can. I'm live on air right now. You're on the mic. Can you hear him for us? Yes, he's live with me on the air. All right. Okay. So what it says, the symbols look in the temple wall, and what it says is that Saturn is supposed to be the god of Lucifer, and if you look at the planets, and you study the planets that are out there right now, it's got at the top of Saturn it has a hexagon, and all the planets do actually. Uranus, Pluto, Neptune. At the very top, its center, it has a hexagon right there at the top. And it's actually moving the opposite way of the astral storms that are happening on there. And the people in I don't even know, the planet astrology or astronometry, they're the people that study that, and they're the ones that are putting it out there because they're studying the planets. And they just now found it. Well, listen.
Of America.
The Masonic Mecca of America, which the Black Cube decoded ancient occult symbolisms. The Black Cube represents Set, Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, and Santa Ana. They're all worshiping Saturn. Saturn is supposed to be, the god of Lucifer. They say the planets actually are angelic beings. They're not actually planets. What do you think about that, caller?
$59. Ancestry DNA can open you to a world of new cultures.
Vinci used to say a lot of things too. Right.
Everyone, I hope you're all well. Today
This
we're
is
going to take
true.
a look at a Korean TV commercial.
And they're saying that the planets are alien bodies. They're here and they're coming in, and CERN is calling them here, and they're shooting these Sanskrit, and that's ancient Hebrew and Aramaic writings. It's before Aramaic. It's Samaritan. It's before Samaritan writings. Sanskrit is. And they're shooting them into these black holes that they're making with this particle collider. And they said whatever comes out or whatever goes in, we want to be ready for it. You know what I mean? And with AI coming across, and Jody Ross, who created the D-Wave computer, which is way crazy. He says it's like H.P. Lovecraft, and it's like sitting at the altar of the old gods, he said. And the weird thing is he said old gods because H.P. Lovecraft had all these old gods that he talked about, right?
New Age ideology and New Age religion.
Mm-hmm.
See that this is actually part of a...
So, and he says that there's so much power in that you would never believe. So school is info.
Back this mystery religion.
So what's your question for me today? What's your name, caller? Okay, Forrest, what's your question for the AMKS Scottish show today? Okay. I find it to be already that way. And instead of asking how could it or should it have been, how can we cope with it that way? Because it's already been written. The stars have been written. You're exactly where you mean to be today. I'm exactly where I mean to be today. And when you get that feeling in your soul to move, you are going to move. And you're going to know it when you need to go. God's going to put it on you. And you're going to love it when he puts it on you. Or the creator, or the universe. However you want to put it, he's one thing. And he's everything at once. He counts many names. But there's only one way to get him, because the broad is the path, but narrow is the way. That's crazy, right? There's no religion higher than truth, it says. Right? And this has a serpent around it with David's star in the middle with the Ankh in the middle of the Ankh.
The RSE forums are now open, which provides a place for people to talk about these things. Occult
symbolism. And I was driving today, going to the doctor's today, and I was thinking, with all the symbolism that is in the world today, with the people putting their fingers over their eye and all this other crap, you know what I mean? And the DNA testing, genetics, and everything like that, right? How is it? Huh? How we get the land? How do we get this land?
The English people thought that the Indians...
Who's English? Britain?
The English is Britain, yeah.
Okay, so the Britain people... Great Britain, yeah. Mm-hmm. England.
Said that the Indians weren't in the Bible, so, there's wild animals, I guess, supposedly, so kill them. That's why they were all dead, almost, and killed.
So...
And plus, there was a lot of many voyages, and they said that Lewis and Clark were the first ones to land on the first English land in our colonies in the Caribbean, but it wasn't true. We had the Plymouth, we had Jamestown, we had a lot of people before Lewis and Clark.
Oh, so you think Columbus was here at first?
No, Columbus was not the first one here.
Who was the first people here then?
The Vikings.
Who do you think was here first? Say, Forrest?
The Vikings were here first.
You think the Vikings? Because it shows the Asians were here too.
No. The Vikings were here, were the very first to come to this land thousands of years ago, before even England existed.
Oh, okay.
So they were here first, and then the Indians They traveled from India. They came down, went through Africa, and they thought that our continents were connected, or they could have, when the Atlantic Ocean freezes, because it's right there to the next Atlantic, it freezes, they could have walked across. And most of the Indians died from diseases because they couldn't handle the England. When they came out, they mostly walked through cold climate, and diseases can't be in cold, very, very cold climate. So they came out.
Really?
Yep.
You think so?
So that's how they died from the England. Mostly died from disease. That's what killed most of them.
Yes. I believe that. I don't say it's untrue, but I don't know all the facts.
Well, yeah. You're welcome to your student.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. So what do you think about that, Force? Absorb it? Jesus said to them, "Did you never read the scriptures? The stone in which the builders rejected, this became the chief cornerstone." Matthew 21:42. School's in, folks. If your veil has not been lifted, if you're not awakening in these times and things aren't coming to you fast enough, you're not looking. You know, we are subpartically being bombarded with signs and symbols. Subconsciously, our minds are reading crap, and we know what's going on subconsciously. Some of us know what's going on consciously. How do you feel about that, Mr. Forrest? Mm-hmm. Living in the Matrix can be intense, especially if you don't know what pill to take. If you take the red pill and you go down the rabbit hole, and we show how deep the rabbit hole really goes, or you take the blue pill and you go back to Wonderland. You know what I mean? And you live happily ever after. Morpheus had to take the pill too. Thank you, caller. I thank you for calling in. Do you have any more questions for AMKS? Thank you very much for calling in, caller. We love you too for your support. Have a great night. Bye. This is AMKS Goddess Radio. Saying what you think, too afraid to say. We're talking about the veil. The veil. What? Are you talking to me, son? All right. Sorry, we're talking about the veil over everybody. It's the scandal of the Kabbalah.
You brood of vipers. How are you to escape being sentenced to hell?
To hell, to hell. New Babylon falling on Saudi Arabia. It being caught on fire and set to, set. Okay.
Can I use a speaker?
Yeah, you can use my speaker.
And what is it called? Is it okay if me and Jordan walk back to his house and get his car to go pick up his friend from school?
I thought he can't drive his car right now.
Well, he asked his mom to pick up his friend from school because his friend has work. He gets off at 9 o'clock at night he has night school. I'm gonna be back. He's gonna drop me off after we smoke a few bowls with.
I'm online, on air.
I didn't know.
iHeartRadio.
I'm just talking to
iHeartRadio.
you.
You're telling me you're getting high online where nation people can hear you. You know what I mean? That's what my kid does. Thank you, son, for being honest. Marcelino, come here. Marcelino. Marcelino.
What?
I want to thank you for being honest on iHeartRadio tonight. Thank you for telling everybody in the world that you smoke marijuana. Good thing I don't have very many listeners, maybe one or two.
No problem.
16 years old, smoking marijuana. Oh. My God.
Just you. Okay, hang on just a second.
So, the ancient religion of Babylon, they all have one thing in common.
This guy's really famous. I guess I like this real preacher.
The sacred feminine. The sacred feminine. Ishtar the Babylonians, Tara the Buddhism, Fatima Muhammad, Sophia the Gnostics, Shekinah to the Kabbalist Jew, Mary to the Catholic, and Shakti to the Hindu. These all
Isn't it interesting how all
one
the
thing in
secret
common,
societies
the
and
sacred
clubs,
feminine. And the
occult
sacred
clubs are in the
feminine is going to take you back to the source. Because the light that resides in that place that Plato talked about, you need a path to get back to that light. Listen, this is important. She is the one to take you to that light. Now, I'm gonna give you a guess. Tell me this morning, who do you think that light is? You remember what this subject's all about? Lucifer. He's the light bearer.
Marcelino, can you close my door a little bit? I can hear your radio and it's picking up on my show. Marcelino, you're not carrying my radio in the rain. Oh my God. The things that are happening in our world. Morgan Freeman, what's this say?
Morgan Freeman, born June 1st, 1937. Producer and director. The shy Morgan Freeman has been quiet for a long time in the industry with his old self. And he don't seem to care who knows what they know because he realizes the This wide mouth on the face eyes looking man has made many offerings to go to Lucy and still to this day at 80 flat years old. He's still putting in work for Lucy and he's proud of it. Morgan Freeman, the pop-time man, was married to his second wife from 1984 to 2007. But he later on adopted his step-granddaughter to live with him because he had some business. He had to finish with the goat. It's sad that Morgan, the big-eyed Freeman, planned all of this from the start. Old man Morgan raised his stepdaughter after his divorce till she was grown because he was getting them cookies. And one sad day happened when Morgan Freeman decided to off his 33-year-old stepdaughter and their relationship partner to go Lucy. Old man Morgan and his stepdaughter's boyfriend are both sellouts from the start. It was all planned. Right outside a building in broad daylight. Morgan Freeman's stepdaughter was laid to rest as people watched. Wow! After the offering, they claimed that her boyfriend was taken into custody. But it was all fake. They found him not guilty for reason of insanity. Wow! Some people recall the last words of Morgan Freeman's stepdaughter saying, "Why are you doing this?" And the boyfriend replied and said that his lord Lucifer told him to do it. Wow! After the offering, Morgan Freeman was cheering with joy on his face from the cruel thing he did, because he's proud of it. In 2012, in an interview, this Morgan Freeman puppet was asked, do you believe in God? Old man Morgan nodded his head and said that he believes that he is God. Wow! Old man Morgan is a 33-degree Mason too, and he's proud of it. The guy who completed this offering for Morgan Freeman is not in jail. Him and Morgan Freeman are somewhere laughing and sipping on wine in the sunset.
Wow.
Morgan Freeman thinks he's going to get away with this, but at the end of the day he will pay the piper. Ain't it strange that both her boyfriend and her were 33 years old when this happened? Wow. And on that note, when old fragile bones Freeman spends his last day on this earth, he will be with his lord Lucifer, the one he dearly loved, and all the rest of the known sellouts.
Wow.
And when his soul travels through the afterlife, he will bust hell wide open at bouncing speed. And while he's in hell, he will be
No swimming.
rear-ended by an enlarged demon pitchfork for all eternity. Wow. Get this fish-eyed old bones man out of my face. Ha 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 ha. Like, comment and subscribe and turn on notifications.
Talking about Morgan Freeman's daughter.
Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube, and got another one of those weird stories in the news that I really wanted to share. Morgan Freeman's stepdaughter stabbed to death in an exorcism. This just happened today.
Stabbed to death in an exorcism?
Morgan Freeman's step-granddaughter was stabbed to death by her crazy boyfriend as he appears to be trying to perform an exorcism on her on a Manhattan sidewalk early Sunday. Law enforcement sources and the witness said, "Get out, devils. I cast you out, devils. In the name of Jesus Christ, I cast you out," the suspect screamed, according to George Hodako, 65,
Wow.
who witnessed the attack from his window in Washington Heights and called 911. The girl was making a lot of noise, screaming, Hodako said of victim Edena Hines, 33. I'm going to stop there just for a second.
Wow.
And just the fact this is Morgan Freeman and he's really high up in the Hollywood system, immediately a lot of us are going to start thinking, could this be some kind of an...
So this is the shit we're talking about. Things that are happening. Trafficking people. You know what I mean? What else? We've got so many things going. Katy Perry clone. Before you didn't know it, Obama's gradual trans... Well, we all know that he's a... Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Explosive new... they got Illuminati Church in Colorado that's smoking weed, right? Stevie Wonder was never blind? What? What's that about? How about Paul McCartney dying in
We work hard and take pride in a job well done. And after a hard day's work...
Stevie Wonder was never blind in the music industry.
Stevland Hardaway Morris was born May 13, 1950. Known by his stage name Stevie Wonder, is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, and multi-instrumentalist. Stevie Wonder and the Three Blind Mice. Wow! Everybody knows about this blind eye man. They say that he was born blind when he came out his mommy's home. But my question is, if this blind man was really blind, why his head is shaking and moving 24/7 like he's acting it all out? But in 1961, Stevie Wide-Eyes Wonder at 11 years old signed a 5-year deal with Motown Records, and he was proud of it. Stevie Open Eyes Wonder was playing the piano and laughing at the same time, swinging his head side to side like a blind mouse. Wow! Little Stevie had everybody fooled at an early age because he gave his life to Goat Lucy, and he loved it. The elites had this fake blind puppet master of a man touring the world.
So what do you guys think?
Like he was blind.
You got, how about this one? John Travolta deceives everybody for Hollywood movies.
John Joseph Travolta, born February 18,
Real conspiracies.
1954, is an American actor, film producer, dancer, and singer.
He's got
John
the Joker
Travolta,
lips.
The guy who isn't satisfied with his own chin and decided to get butt chin service. Wow. This dude looked like one of them fellas that would take your husband out on a date and never return. He sold his soul to partake in the butt crumb agenda, and he's proud of it. This booty chin sellout on the face looking man had 6 siblings, and he's the youngest of them. His mom was an actress, and his dad was a semi-pro football player. John Travolta wanted to be a famous actor so bad that he decided to pursue it. He moved from New York to Los Angeles to further his acting career, where he finally fell in some butt crumbs for movie roles. And he was proud of it. In the year 1970, John Travolta officially sold his butt crumbs to Goat Lucy.
Butt crumbs.
But the only way for Booty Chin to succeed is he had to give Goat Lucy an offering. And John Butt Chin Travolta had the perfect plan. So he hooked up with older actress that go by the name of Diana Hyland, who was old enough to be his mommy. But all that came to an end. In 1977,
Wow, so you hear all these different controversies, you know?
Girlfriends to Goat Lucy, and he was proud of it. That was his way into Goat Lucy's bread. After the offer of his career,
So we're talking about Luciferian ways, the Draconians. Let's talk about the Draconians. They live in an ultra. They're like, now, from what I understand, they're like raptors. You know what I mean? Raptors that have evolved. Such a trippy out thing, right? Anyway, the insanity which we live in today. You know, DNA shows Paul McCartney is dead. New original analyst. Dude's been dead since 66. Am I 5? I mean, I thought that shit was all made up, right? Because we were always watching, like, you know, Get Smart and, you know, shit like that. You know what I mean? 007. All real stuff, man. None of it fake whatsoever. Anyway, guys, this has been AMKS Goddess Radio, broadcasting to you live from the pad, man. From the pad. Saying what you think, too afraid to say. Grow a heart, folks. Stand up for something, you're gonna fall for everything. We've already fell for enough, don't you think? You know. Peace out.